This is the L2C Media Network, and this is L2C Sports Final, presented by the L2C Media Network. And now, with a day in sports, including some good old-fashioned sports leftovers from last night, our boy, Steve the Baxman Baxley. Hello. Good evening. Welcome, everybody, to the L2C Sports Final, or as we always say, on Friday nights. Welcome one and all to the Corsican Ball. I am Steve the Baxman Baxley, still with this hair. Yes, I know. I promised I would get rid of it and go back to my short hair, but I swear I am never going to shave the beard unless a certain woman says I must. I ain't talking about my mom or my friends. There's one woman I respect out of everyone else, of course. And she's the one that will tell me to either lose it or keep it. But I look better with short hair. Just my thought. Anyway, guys, no mistakes, no errors. Thank God for a small miracle. So, you know what? Let's stop this talking and do some squawking. Time for the sports to do its worthiness. That's right. Time. All right. Looks like David's having microphone problems on 6. Well, let's start first with the NFL. That's right, we're going Nuffle. We're going Nuffle here, folks. And, wow. The Seattle Seahawks and the Baltimore Ravens are two teams that have reportedly discussed the possibility of signing free agent Brown as relates to signing the former All-Pro. Brown, via Instagram, shared the video of himself catching a pass from Russell in San Diego while asking his followers, would like to see this on Sunday? Hey, we'd like to see you normal on Sunday. You know, playing football and keeping it clean. NFL Network's Adam Silver initially reported the Ravens and Seahawks' interest in Brown. John Clayton of ESPN Radio has also reported that Wilson, who put up an MVP caliber season in 2019, would love for the team to pursue Brown, according to Clayton. Now, as far as receivers are concerned, bless you. The Seahawks Week One depth chart currently consists of DK Metcalf, Tiger Lockett, Philip Dorsett, along with rookies Freddie Swain and Kobe Parkinson. Now, while this is by no means a bad group, the passing attack for the Seahawks would certainly benefit by having Brown, who's led the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdown receptions from 2013 to 2018. It would be great to have him. Brown, who will turn 32 years old on July 10th, is less than a year removed from one of the most tumultuous off seasons a professional athlete has had in recent memory. After 9 extremely productive seasons in Pittsburgh, Brown requested and received a trade that led him being dealt to the Raiders in exchange for 3rd and a 5th-round pick. Brown's time in Oakland was mired in controversy that included a reported on-field altercation with Raiders general manager Mike Mayock. Shortly afterwards, he was released and quickly signed with the Patriots. He caught 4 of 8 targets for 56 yards and a touchdown during his only active game in the 2019 season. He was released by the Patriots shortly after a report from Sports Illustrated that highlighted allegations of intimidation by Brown from an accuser. Brown was also in the midst of sexual assault accusations that were brought to light following him signing with New England. Brown was recently sentenced to a 2-year probation after pleading no contest in his moving truck driver battery case. Has kept a very low profile on social media during the past months. He is still under investigation by the NFL following his inclusion in a 2019 civil suit from a woman accusing him of sexual misconduct and rape. The league's ongoing investigation is most likely the reason why Brown remains unsigned, and it's highly possible that Brown will immediately be placed on the commissioner's exempt list if he is signed by an NFL team. The Seahawks are trying to make it back to their first Super Bowl since 2014. Could ultimately decide that the potential benefit of having Brown on their roster might be worth that risk. And we got to agree. He is good.
While opponents say the monuments glorify racism.
All right.
President Trump repeated his call for long.
What a fun day.
For people who veto and dispense spending bills.
In college football, Utah's defensive coordinator. Oh, you're going to love this. Utah defensive coordinator Morgan Scalley will remain on with the Utes following an investigation to a text message containing racist language. Coach Kyle Whittingham and athletic director Mark Harlan announced Scalley was suspended this month after Harlan was made aware of the text since in 2013 through a social media post. As part of the findings, Scalley will engage with leadership of Utah's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion team and will participate in regular and ongoing diversity and inclusion education. You will also see his salary go from $1.1 million to $525,000, the amount he received in 2018 before agreeing to a multi-year extension in 2019 December. $100,000 of Scalley's salary will be sent to United Together Against Hate, a student-athlete forum that started in 2019. Finally, his title as head coach in waiting has been rescinded. Now, the investigation found that almost all of the current and former student athletes interviewed were shocked at learning that Scalley used a racial slur in the text message and didn't report hearing him make the racial slurs in the past. Numerous athletes added that they did not view Scalley as racist. However, two former players report that prior to 2013, Scalley used the words black ass when addressing a player during a practice, and several former players reported that he made comments about their appearance that they believed to be rooted in racial stereotyping. One former player said that prior to 2013, he used a racial slur towards him, though no one else could corroborate this allegation. Scalley has denied all of these allegations. He did He admitted to making a terrible mistake by sending a racial slur that was offensive and hurtful, not only to the African-American community, but to all. He added that he immediately apologized to the recipient of the message after it was sent. It's not clear to whom the message was sent to. He also said in a statement, quote, "I am truly sorry and I own up to the hurt effects of my choice. Though through my actions and words going forward, I will demonstrate that my use of that slur in 2013 does not reflect or define who I am or what I stand for. My action is indefensible, and I will use my voice and position to bring about meaningful and much-needed change." This will be Scalley's 13th in Utah under Whittingham. Yahooski. Let's keep going because we got a lot of sports.
One of the two Line 5 pipelines that
also,
Straits of Mackinac can restart
in the NFL report,
the Eastern Pipeline will stay
if you watch Tom Brady's body language during the 2019 season, it didn't seem like he was very much enjoying his final season in New England. Apparently, a change of scenery has fixed things because it seems the 42-year-old is now enjoying football again, especially now that he's been reunited with Rob Gronkowski. Brady doesn't share his private thoughts often, but he did share them with his throwing coach Tom House back in April. After Gronk was traded to the Buccaneers, Brady sent House an interesting text. Quote, "I think the most fun text we've had is when Gronk signed," end quote. House told GQ in a recent interview, quote, "Tom texted me and said, 'Football's fun again,' end quote. We're going to go ahead and let you interpret that however you see fit. Doesn't mean that Brady didn't have fun in 2019 without Gronk. Doesn't mean that football was never fun for him in New England. Doesn't mean he wasn't having fun in Tampa until the Bucs added Gronk. Whatever the answer is, we know that Brady is now having fun again on the football field. Not only has he been working out with his new teammates, but he's been staying in constant communication with House, who he talks too often despite the pandemic. House has been helping Brady with his mechanics for nearly a decade, and although they can't work out together in person this year, they managed to make things work. Basically, Brady sent a video every week, and then House breaks it down. If you're wondering what the two talk about, it's almost all business. Not only has Brady been honing his mechanics all off season, he's organized several workouts so he can throw passes to his new teammates. If you need proof that Brady is having fun again, that might be it. During his final 2 off seasons in New England, former Patriots quarterback skipped every voluntary workout. During his first off season in Tampa, he's going out of his way to organize special practices, even though the NFLPA has advised him and all NFL players against it. The old Tom Brady is back and looks Gronktastic. We're going to take a little bit more stuff in a few, including more on changing the Redskins' name. The NFL reportedly cutting 2020 preseason in half, and another football program has met with the coronavirus. All that and a lot more.
Remember? False alarm. Everything's fine. For you, Abby. That wasn't a good look.
We give you commercial. And that commercial is simply thus. Coming up tonight on Rekieta Laws, Lost Blading the Interwebs with Nick Rekieta. Oh, I thought we can get away with this without mentioning him. But yes, tonight, why? Why do we have to? Why are we being punished by this? Why? Why, I ask you? That's right, it's part 3. Ronversations by proxy, the interview. Live tonight at midnight. This should be punishable, but it's going to be fun. Be ready for it. That's tonight with Nick Rekieta and company. Midnight Eastern, 11 Central, only on the Rekieta Law channel, only on YouTube. And there you go. That's the way, we play it, That's the way, we play it, yeah. By the way, my cat's new treats. Everybody dance. There you go.
Major League Baseball team, the Detroit Tigers were given a green light to invite up to 6
all right.
summer camp this year.
Can we do a little music? Because I got to do a little business for a moment. So here you go. Got to take a little brochet, but before we do, we got some little upbeat music to play for you whilst I take a little bit of a bye-bye here. We'll be back in a moment with more of the show. Stay tuned.
this summer.
There's a lot of dialogue that's very negative surrounding it.
It's summertime.
I think that this is only gonna make us better going forward. Being able to talk and understand the gaps we can bridge and
This is the L2C Media Network. We're back with more Sports Final. Here's Steve. Okay, folks, we are back and we're smiling. I don't know why, but it feels good to smile. Hopefully, you're having a bright and beautiful day. Last night, I didn't feel good. Had a little bit of a little flush problem, as it were. The heat and humidity got to me a little bit, but today I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm getting there slowly but surely. Anyway, let's get to more psychotic fun here. Yeah, we're going to get to more psychotic fun. That's right. We got more sports for you. That's not the report we want, guys. Redskins report, fellas. Yeah, like, can we get the Redskins report? Somebody? We would love to have a Redskins report. Okay, can we do that? Can we? All right. Mr. Jackson himself, Tony Dungy, like many former NFL players, coaches, fans, media members, used to use Washington's team name without any reservation. That was before the topic began to pick up more and more national steam as it relates to the team's nickname and whether or not the owner, Daniel Snyder, should consider making a change. Hi there. What are we here talking? Thank you. Should consider making a change of the Redskins' name. Dungy, a Hall of Fame coach and current NBC broadcaster, recently told the undefeated William C. Roden that he makes a conscious effort not to say Washington's team name during broadcast. Dungy also doesn't see how it would be hard for the team to make a change to its name. Dungy said, quote, "It's not hard to change the name," said Dungy in February 2007. Became the first African-American coach to lead his team to a Super victory. When I'm on the air, I just refer to him as Washington. I think it's appropriate. If the team doesn't want to change, the least I can do is try not to use it. Oh, this is true. Dungy does not think Washington's history and tradition to defend the continued use of the name are legitimate reasons to continue to do so. Snyder, the team's owner since '99, said in 2013 that he does not ever plan to change the team's name. Dungy said, "You can say this has been a historic name and we've used for this team for so many a number of years. But in this day and age, it's offensive to some people, so we're going to change it. I don't think it's hard." Earlier this week, Washington coach Ron Rivera was asked about whether it was time for the team to switch its name. Rivera, who led the Panthers to the Super Bowl at the end of the 2015 season, said that he believes that's a conversation for a different time. Rivera said during an interview on 670 The Score's McNeil and Parkins show, quote, "I think it's all about the movement, the moment, and the timing. But I'm just somebody that's from a different era when football wasn't such a big part of the political scene. That's one of the tough things for me, too, is I've always wanted to try to keep that separate. People have wanted me to get involved in politics. When I was coaching, I kept telling them it's not for me to get up here and influence people. I have my beliefs. I know what I think. I support the movement, support the players. I believe in what they're doing. And again, I think there are certain elements to certain things that it's all about the timing and the best time to discuss those things. Washington has made several noticeable changes over the past month. The team recently decided to remove George Preston Marshall's name from the Ring of Fame. The team has also removed his statue from the former home of the team, RFK Stadium. Washington's original owner, Marshall, according to ESPN's John Keim, was the last NFL owner to integrate his franchise, not doing so until 1962. This move was recently applauded by Washington running back Adrian Peterson, who also said that he is constantly educating himself on the issue regarding the team's name during an interview with TMZ Sports. The team has also announced the number retirement of Hall of Fame receiver Bobby Mitchell, the team's first African-American player who passed away early this year. Washington will also rename the lower bowl at FedEx Field in Mitchell's honor. Now, Washington, despite continued public pressure to do so, has made no public plans to change its team name anytime soon. We'll see about that as we get closer and closer to the NFL season. It's 34 minutes past the hour of 11 o'clock. This is the L2C Sports Final on the L2C Media Network on YouTube. Now, let's get you ready. Get ready for CBS. No, get ready for some scores of the NWSL Challenge Cup. We have some of them, and I think we're going to do it right now. Okay, let's take you to Saturday, June 27th. The North Carolina Courage beat the Portland Thorns 2-1. Washington Spirit defeated the Chicago Red Stars 2-1. Tuesday, June 30th, the Houston Dash tied the Utah Royals 3-up. And the OL Reign and the Sky Blue, they also end up in a tie, goose eggs. Tonight it was the Portland Thorns and Chicago Red Stars, and they ended up in a gooser 0-0. Spirit and North Carolina Courage are at this hour playing, so we have no report on the score of that game as of yet. And I say as of yet because we don't know. We don't know. We don't know game that starts early. But if you want to see it, go to CBS All Access. All games, but 2 of them are on CBS All Access. I wish it was on CBS Sports Network. You have your own cable, satellite, and everything else. Sports Network. So why don't you air it? This is silly. This is stupid. But I wish we could do this. That's that for thus and thus, and them and there, and everywhere in between. Let's take you to a couple of nuggets. As you know, we try to fulfill you with all the sports we can, but sometimes we can't because those are for those reports we don't have time for. Well, we do. It's called Sports Leftovers. And let's get to it, folks. Our friends at Fubo TV. Well, if you happen to be a subscriber, get ready to vomit. They're raising their prices again. Again. And after announcing last week that they would add Disney Media Network channels, including ESPN, ABC, ESPN2, Disney Channel, FXX, and more, streaming bundle company Fubo TV has now revealed that they'll be increasing the price of their basic package from $55 to $60 a month. But, well, with every good thing, you got to have a little bad. That's right. For every yin, you got to have a yang. And boy, is this yang a bombshell. They are dropping 11 Warner Media channels, which they added back in 2018 in August. The dropped networks: TNT, TBS, CNN, Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, Boomerang, True TV, HLN, TCM, CNN in Espanol, and CNN International. So that means if you're looking to watch basketball or baseball on Fubo TV, this will be missing. This fall, we'll be missing some of the action, although they'll be getting some games from both leagues on the ESPN networks. And it seems like this is more a permanent divorce than a short-term carriage dispute. At least so says a statement from both sides. And here's what both sides. In a statement referring to the termination of Fubo carriage, Warner Media did not appear to be leaving the door open for a deal. We are disappointed that our deal with Fubo TV is not being renewed, as we have been working with them and we're open to a potential renewal, the statement said. A Fubo spokesperson said, in order to continue to provide the most value to our customers at a reasonable price point, we will not be renewing our contract with Warner Media. Despite these changes and with the upcoming launch of ESPN and Walt Disney Television, Fubo TV Sports Focus Cable TV replacement will offer a market best 43 of the top 50 Nielsen-ranked sports, news, and entertainment channels in our base package. Now, it's somewhat understandable why Fubo TV is making this change, especially after adding the Disney networks. The price hike alone will not cover the cost of adding the Disney channels, especially with ESPN's industry-leading per-subscriber fee. As our friends at Awful Announcing wrote last week, bundling all of them together would cause Fubo to pay a significant amount in carriage fee, $16 per an estimate last fall. And that estimate has the Warner Media channels coming in around $6.50 per month in per subscriber fee. So even Cutting them and raising the price won't make this revenue neutral for a streaming service, but cutting them makes it possible to offer a less dramatic price increase than the 30% hike from $49.99 to $64.99 monthly, YouTube TV unveiled this week. This further emphasizes a couple of trends that we've all been seeing with streaming providers, though. For one, streaming package prices are continuing to rise to something that's close to a traditional cable or satellite bundle, and considering that they require a good internet plan, which is often cheaper if bundled with traditional cable or satellite, savings aren't always that significant. For another, most of the streaming providers have significant sports content gaps. For example, Fubo TV has removed the problems they face by not having ESPN, but they've added issues with not having TNT and TBS and True TV for a few days each March. Yes, Fubo TV has some advantages over some other streaming bundles, especially with their carriage of the NFL Network, which currently isn't on AT&T TV Now, YouTube TV, or Hulu Plus Live TV. But those bundles have their own benefits in addition to their shortfalls, and some of them may be more appealing than others. Fubo TV has solved one glaring issue by adding ESPN's networks, but losing Warner's networks in the process sets them back a bit. Of course, it's all not necessarily on them. It's worth keeping in mind here that Warner Media parent AT&T owns their streaming service with AT&T TV Now, which gives them less of an incentive to make favorable deals with competitors to that service. So in other words, you get a good thing, but it costs you the best thing. So, well, potato, you get what you pay for. Crap. Okay, let's keep going. Turner has announced a new E-League game series starting with Josh Norman, Chad Johnson, FIFA 20. US Entertainment IMG Esports Partnership E-League has pulled in some celebrity guanum. That's right, they pulled in some celebrity athletes before, especially with Street Fighter V tournaments for charity featuring the likes of Shaq, Reggie Bush, Jimmy Rollins, and more. Now they're launching a regular celebrity gaming competition, and they're doing so with two NFL trash talkers, Josh Norman and Chad Ochocinco Johnson. Norman and Johnson faced off in FIFA 19 at the Warner Media Studios in Atlanta back in February 2019 as part of the E-League FUT Champions Cup. And now they're set for a rematch in FIFA 20 in the first episode of E-League Game Night, which will air Friday, July 3rd at midnight Eastern on TBS. Now, the E-League Game Night will kick off with an epic EA Sports FIFA 20 rematch between Chad Ochocinco Johnson and Pro Bowl defensive back Josh Norman, with a charitable donation made to the winner's charity of choice. Professional EA Sports FIFA player Mike LaBelle will MC the showdown, and that's going to be fun. It's interesting to have a pair of athletes known for their NFL careers facing off in a soccer game instead. While both Johnson and Norman are known for their love of the FIFA franchise. Johnson's even been known to go to people's houses and play FIFA against them. And with these two having already faced off in FIFA in an E-League event, it'll be fun to see a rematch. The trash talk we'll see here should help too. Back and forth trash talk between the competitors was cited as a selling point by many who watched the latest edition of the match. And you'll know we'll get that with Johnson and Norman. We'll see how this goes and what's ahead for E-League Game Night. That should be fun. Midnight, TBS. Please watch. Okay. Let's ESPN has announced a new NFL Live lineup. Would you like to hear it? I'm glad you would. Because here it is. ESPN officially announced a new lineup for its weekday NFL Live show on Tuesday. The new program is expected to read what was originally reported by Outkick's Bobby Burek in early June. Laura Rutledge will take over as NFL Live host, replacing Wendy Nix. She'll lead a regular panel of Marcus Spears, Dan Orlovsky, Keyshawn Johnson, and Mina Kuhns. Rutledge has been a permanent contributor to Get Up in addition to her work for SEC Network. According to ESPN's release, she'll continue hosting the SEC Nation Saturday pregame show along with NFL Live. Most of the new NFL Live roster had regular roles on ESPN's morning show. Spears and Orlowski frequently appeared on Get Up as well as First Take and SportsCenter as NFL analysts. Along with their new positions, both will continue appearing on those programs. Spears originally joined ESPN as an analyst for the SEC Network, but have been providing more analysis for NFL Live, Get Up, First Take, and SportsCenter since last fall. Same for Orlowski. He was reportedly a candidate for the Monday Night Football team, but this presumably takes him out of consideration. According to the ESPN release, he'll continue calling a weekly college football game for ESPN and ABC. Now, Johnson was just named as one of the co-hosts for ESPN Radio's new morning show, in addition to his new analyst role on NFL Live. Previously, he was an analyst for The Big Show, NFL Sunday Countdown, and Monday Night Countdown, while also appearing on SportsCenter and ESPN Radio. Now, Kimes probably shouldn't be a surprising addition to the show, considering the feature writing she's done on the NFL and the frequent football analysis and commentary she provided throughout ESPN programming. She'll become an NFL analyst as part of her NFL Live role, but will continue in most of the other roles she had with the network. She'll still appear on Around the Horn, Highly Questionable, as well as the Mina Kim Show featuring Lenny. Kim will step away, however, from the ESPN Daily podcast she's hosted since it debuted last October. Pablo Torre will replace her on that program, available every weekday morning, part of the contract extension he signed with the network in May. Now, Torre will fill in on select shows during July. He will continue appearing on Around the Horn, Highly Questionable. Torre co-hosted High Noon with Bomani Jones. That show was canceled in February after nearly 2 years on the air. The last edition was produced remotely and posted online following ESPN shut down studio programming amid this lovely virus. Also continuing to contribute to NFL Live will be Ryan Clark, and of course, all of the network reporters and insiders, including Adam Schefter, Deanna Rossini, Jeff Darlington, Louis Riddick, Bill Yates, what a name, Dan Graziano, Kimberly A. Martin, and Chris Mortensen will appear regularly. That is good. You got to keep the tradition up as far as I am concerned. Priced to $64.99 a month. ESPN Plus is reportedly getting price bump to $5.99 a month. The NBA plans to have most of its national Turner and ESPN announcers and analysts calling games on site in Orlando. One person who will be missing from that is the elder statesman of the Turner move. That is, of course, Marv Albert. He will not be on play-by-play when the NBA resumes in Orlando. The New York Post has learned. That's right. Both Turner and ESPN are now reportedly sending their NBA play-by-play announcers and game analysts to Orlando for the league's planned resumption, should there be one. Andrew Marchand of the New York Post broke the news Tuesday, writing about this with the framing that the ageless NBA on TNT announcer Marv Albert will not be among them. The current plan is to have the national broadcast crews in Orlando. Let's see. Marv's thoughts are in story. TNT and ESPN play-by-players and analysts will be on site. Marv expects to return next season. That would be nice. Albert received a call from the chairman of Warner Media News and Sports Division, some guy named Jeff Zucker, whatever his name is. He oversees Turner Sports. No comment. He said to me, maybe this is something you should skip in my age bracket. Before displaying some of his signature humor, I like to point out to you that 79 is the new 78. Now, this is a difference from NBA on TNT announcer Kevin Harlan. His early June comments on SiriusXM NBA Radio with Tom Byrne and Amin Elisan, transcribed by Richard Deitch of The Athletic, which said that broadcasters wouldn't be on site until late in the tournament at the earliest. Of course, plans can change, but it's unusual to see them change in this direction. Most of the shifts we've seen recently have been to more and more remote broadcasting in the interest of health and safety. So it's curious to see this going the other way. One of the things that's usually cited as an impetus to have broadcasters on site, crowd reaction won't be a factor in games played without fans. Yes, there are some disadvantages to calling games remotely, including having to rely solely on camera feeds rather than your eyes, and the technical challenge that comes with having a game in one location and announcers in the other locations. But a lot of networks so far have decided to make their broadcasts as remote as possible to try and limit the amount of people on site. And it's certainly unusual to see that going the other way in the NBA after remote broadcasts were previously floated. And remote broadcasts are expected to be the norm for the regional sports network crews, except for Pistons, who are not invited. Gee, I wonder why. It is notable that having the national announcers call games remotely would carry its own challenges, though, including that they'd have to travel to central hubs like Warner Studios in Atlanta or ESPN Studios in Bucolic, Bristol. This could also be quite interesting when it comes to the multiple gigs that many of these broadcasters hold. For example, TNT's primary play-by-play announcers after Albert are Kevin Harlan, Ian Eagle, Ryan Anderson. Harlan and Eagle also do NFL work for CBS, and in Harlan's case for Westwood One as well, and Anderson does baseball work for TBS. They got gigs beyond that as well, of course, but those look like some of the most prominent potential conflicts, especially with the playoffs currently set for August to October. Both the NFL and MLB looking to home games during that time. If those announcers are busy with on-site NBA games, this could be very interesting. It could be. We're going up to midnight at a couple of minutes as well. So, let's see. What else we got? NBA on TNT will be resuming its regular shows in this very month. That's right, inside the NBA. For those of you who have been craving it, you won't have to wait till the league is scheduled to return to play at the end of the month. Turner announced Wednesday that its Tuesday and Thursday crews will return for at least 2 weeks to begin the month of July. Adam Lefkoe, Dwayne Wade, Candace Parker, and Shaq O'Neal will be on the air July 7th and 14th. And the Inside the NBA crew of Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and old Shaqalicious will be live on the 9th and 16th. All shows 8 p.m. and will be hour-long. The shows will help the NBA ramp up towards resumption of play. What's going on around the league and a few other things. Everything will be done remotely for those 4 initial shows before the crews fly to Turner's Atlanta studios, Studio J, for the league's restart. Now, the show itself, Kenny Smith told our friends at Awful Announcing, will look very similar, and I think that's probably going to feel good for a lot of NBA fans to have the similarity in the shows. I'm looking forward to just doing the thing I enjoy doing. Talking sports is a big part of my life. Yahoo Sports reporter Chris Haynes, who has served as sideline reporter for TNT's weekly Tuesday telecast during the second half of the season, will be on the ground inside the Orlando bubble at Disney World doing segments, interviews, and everyone else. Turner's programming plans between July 21st and 30th are still in the works, but spokesman did say there'll be shows in some form to be announced after the July 4th weekend. And, well, we're going to have a little fun, folks. We hope you do too. So there you go. On that level. Now, speaking of which, what does the return of sports mean for those lovely regional sports networks? Well, I'll tell you something. Right now, they're withholding the hee-haws and hoo-hoos, and especially one of them. Live sports are returning to your television somehow, some way this pitiful year, and their return is a small bright spot of getting back to something resembling normal. For anyone that would like to put a definition to it, be my guest. So what's next? How do you watch? What does this mean for your local regional sports network? How happy is Sinclair Byron Allen? How happy is Fox to have offloaded its 22 regional sports networks before a global pandemic halted live local sports, selling them to Sinclair and a piece to Byron Allen? Sports are expensive no matter how you look at it. Sports counts for the most watched channel in your cable package and the most expensive on your bill, no matter whether or not you've cut the cord, which at this point we are in the cable bundle 2.0 with streaming services. We continue. Television carriage contracts have completely evolved over the last decade, and they are going to have to yet again. Now, most providers carrying the channels you love pay a per subscriber per household fee. If your provider has 10,000 homes and they pay $3 per home per month to carry that channel, they are paying $360,000 to that network per year for that channel only. That per subscriber rate varies depending on channel and content. Now, most regional sports nets are bringing in anywhere between $6 to $12 per subscriber. Now, that's a lot of cheese. Their contracts include a general number of games to be carried for each season after the national broadcast schedule has been generally set. But there haven't been any games since February, and there's no pandemic clause in the legally binding contract. There have been some rumblings of providers wanting to stop paying networks like ESPN until live sports officially return or some type of rebate or money back for the months missing. It's gone quieter because of the official days of return announced now for MLB and NBA. Translation: rating spike! ESPN, TNT, the Major League Baseball Network, and NBA TV will see that return on investment, so that argument quickly becomes moot. And the high possibility of no fans present, your couch becomes viewing headquarters, but about those regional networks. Local regional networks usually see anywhere from 70 to 80 NBA games, 135 to 155 MLB games, and 75 or so NHL games, give or take a few on either end, depending on how many games are picked up nationally. Now, that's a lot of live content. Fox built the local regional sports network as fine-tuned automatic live sports machines, all mirroring each other across the country. Portfolio of RSNs of Fox were sold off in part of a deal when Disney acquired 21st Century Fox programming and had to unload the 22 RSNs, which were picked up by Sinclair / Byron Allen, aside from the S Network, which Sinclair only bought a piece of. Wow, what a time to do so. Now, the effects of this pandemic on the sports nets varies. For instance, Comcast, which holds the most subscribers in the city of Chicago and the other parts of the city, and let's face it, rules the world, has been holding down the launch of Marquee Network, the new Sinclair-owned channel for Chicago Cubs. While that holdout on the outside may look good, Sinclair's broadcast agreement in certain markets are reportedly up in August, and baseball is set to come back in the end of July. Can you say leverage? If Sinclair decides to bundle their broadcast stations with the Carriage Marquee or any RSN, the provider is left with no choice. This will definitely happen, by the way. What about the non-Sinclair markets? If those markets only carry NBA games, no leverage. And there's a threat dropping the RSNs. That is high, which could affect future carriage negotiations. So, with the NBA and Major League Baseball returning, how do you watch? Well, this is another little conundrum for the consumer. If your local NBA team even has made the cut for the Orlando bubble, as of now, there's no agreement for your RSN to cover those games, although we're told that's being worked out. The NBA schedule for the rest of the season has been set on the national channels only. That makes sense since this is the playoffs, but local markets were able to take advantage of airing the first round of games in the past, not to mention the dozen games the RSNs have missed out on for a season. Now, you find the NBA games broadcast on ESPN, TNT, and NBA TV in your local ABC station. They're also available on the following streaming services: YouTube TV, Sling TV, AT&T TV, Hulu Live, Fubo, soon for ABC and ESPN. Clarifiable note, Hulu Live does not carry NBA TV as of now, while Sling TV does not carry local ABC affiliates as of now, which will mean a far bigger problem in the latter stages of the playoffs. Now, the baseball broadcast schedule hasn't been determined. Local RSN should see plenty of action with each team's 60 games needing a home to air. Now, this is important for not only the RSNs, but also for the teams, as most have some type of ownership in the RSNs. Nationally televised games are expected to be on ESPN, Fox, FS1, TBS, and Major League Baseball Network, with MLB Network being the only one of those networks not widely available on an over-the-top carrier. What does this mean to you? The good news is that you, as the consumer, are getting the content on whatever provider or platform you pay for. That'll be aired barring any major carriage dispute. The situation will get more interesting if the pandemic continues into 2021 and additional live games are affected, causing providers to start demanding revised contracts or rebates, which could cause some disruption on your end. This is going to be fun, so stay tuned. All right, I think we have had the pleasure of doing, and that, for want of a better word, is sports leftovers. Now let's get you quickly over to scoreboard and some cheroots, some hi theirs. But right now, let's go to the scoreboard. Get you upwards on some scores. Why? Because without scores, life itself is blank. Okay, let's go to some live scores or some total scores. You know, soccer, football, baseball, basketball. No hockey yet. KBO is a hit, folks. Maybe ESPN should sign up with that. More. Baseball from last night, from, of course, the 1st, because, hey, we're now on June 2nd, except for the West Coast, which is still July 1st, I should say. July 2nd, July 1st. Neat. Hi. 4 minutes. Can we do it? Can we do it, please? Gosh, we can do it. Let's go. Let's go, folks. In the Premier League, Arsenal over Norwich 4-0. Newcastle over Bournemouth 4-1. Everton versus Leicester 2-1. Ham over Chelsea 3-2. Bologna and Cagliari tied at 1. This is in Italy Series A. Inter over Brescia 6-0. Sassuolo over Fiorentina 3-1. Sampdoria over Lecce 2-1. Spal and AC Milan tied at 2. Verona over Parma 3-2. In Spain, in the La Liga action, it was Granada over Alves 2-0. Athletic Bilbao over Valencia 2-0. Villarreal over Betis 2-0. Valladolid and Levante tied at Goose. In Armenia, the Premier League regulation group, it was Gandasar over Punic Yerevan 3-2. In Austria's Tampico Bundesliga championship game, Rapid Vienna over Lask 3-1. Salzburg over Sturm Graz 5-2. In Estonia, the action went like this. Kuressaare over Tulevik 3-0. Padi over Temeka 3-0. Levadia and Kalju tied at 1. Club friendly action, we'll just give you a few scores here. In fact, we'll try to give you all of them. TEC over Sparta Nizhirk 4-2. Zeljesnikar. Okay, we'll go that way. Over Velez Molstar 3-2. Pizik and Slava Prague ended up in a single digit 1-1 tie, but Slava Prague beat Pizik 2-1 after penalty kicks. Jazz Brunel loses to Kemeti TE 3-2. Cheklowis over Solkow 4-2. It was Chelminskia Chelum and Avia Schwidrk Guseg Septembre and Hilbar 2-2 tie. Ludogertz over Loch Gorma 1-0. And FC Kosi and Barjanov 8-1. Kosi wins. In baseball, and then we'll go to the shout-outs, and then we'll get the hell out of here. In the Japan Nippon Pro Baseball League, or Professional Baseball League, Chunichi Dragons over the Hassan Tigers, 6-3, 6-10-1 Dragons, 3-7-3 Tigers. Yamamoto for the Dragons gets the win, splits it up, 1-1. Akiyama of the Tigers suffers his first loss. He's 0-1. The Fukuoka Silverhawks over the Nippon Ham Fighters 4-0. 4-9-2 Silverhawks 0-6-1 Ham Fighters. Martinez for the For the Ham Fighters, loses his second game. He's 0-2. Ishikawa on the Hawks. He got his first win. He's 1-0. Rakuten Golden Eagles over to Chibalade Marins. 5-3, 5-9-0 for the Eagles. 3-10-1 for the Marins. Wakui for the Golden Eagles. Got his second win in a row. He's 2-0. Ojima for the Marins splits it for the loss. He's 1-1. Oric Buffaloes over Cebu Lions 6-0, 6-5-0 Buffaloes, 0-2 Lions. Imai for the Lions, his second loss in a row. He's 0-2. Suzuki let the good times roll. His first win, he's 1-0. The Yakut Swallows over to Hiroshima Carp 4-3, 4-8-1 Swallows, 3-9-3 Carp. Suarez for the Swallows gets a victory. That's his second in a row. He's 2-0. Johnson for the Carp suffers his second loss in a row. He's 0-2. The Yokohama Bay Stars over to the Omuri Giants 5-3, 5-12-0 Bay Stars, 3-9-0 Giants. Amura for the Giants, loses. He splits 1-1. Patton for the Bay Stars wins his second in a row. In the Czech Republic, it was Eagles Prague over Katalarka Prague 11-8, 11-11-0 for the Prague Eagles, 8-16-1 for Prague Katalarka. Trebek blanked the Blansko 4-1, and that's what we call a blank when you only score one run. 14-16-1 for Trebek. Blansko 1, 2, and 3 straight. Tempo Prague definitely blanked Sabat Prague 16-0. That game, by the way, the Trebek Blanco game, only lasted 7 innings. The Tempo Prague Sabat Prague game only lasted 5 innings. Talk about a mercy rule. 16-17-0. Sabat Prague 0-5-2. South Korea KBO, the Korean broadcast, the Korean baseball organization. Let's get to it. Let's go through it. Kia Tigers over the Hanwha Eagles 4-3, 4-11-1 Tigers, 3-12-0 Eagles. Doosan Bears over the Kiwoon Heroes 14-5, 14-19-1 Bears, 5-11-0 Heroes. KT Wiz Swan over the LG Tigers 11-5, 11-19-0 Swan, 5-9-1 Twins. NC Dino over the Lottie Giants 6-2, 6-6-0 Dinos, 2-6-3 Giants. Samsung Lions over the SK Wyverns 7-1, 7-10-0 Lions, 1-4-2 Wyverns. Taiwan CPBL first stage. China Trust Brothers mollywop the floor with the Rakuten Monkeys 20-0. 20-24-0 for the Brothers, 0-4-3 for the Monkeys. Uni Lions over the Fubon Guardians 7-2, 7-9-0 Lions, 2-11-1 Guardians. In the CPBL Taiwan Minor League, it was the Fubon Guardians 2 over the Weishuan Dragons, 6-2, 6-8-2 for the Guardians. That's the sequel. 2-6-0 for the Dragons. Rakuten Monkeys, the sequel over the China Trust Brothers sequel, 11-2, 11-13-0 Monkey sequel, and 2-6-1 Brothers sequel. And for right now, that's going to do it. Let's get you, because our time, we only got about a minute left. Let's just say to all of our friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, hi, folks. How you doing? Glad you can be with us. And that, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, is the end of the L2C Sports Final for tonight. We did it. We got about less than 30 seconds. So let's just say for everyone here at the L2C Sports Final and L2C Sports and Mr. Fine Creativity Productions, I am Steve the Baxman Baxley saying, of course, all else. May your favorite team always win. Good night, America, wherever and whenever you are. We'll see you tomorrow night, 11:10 Eastern. Bye.